Good morning, we're here on the gold future today using ITM Proteus. We're looking at 10:04 a.m., roughly 32 to 33 seconds remaining through to the next legitimate interval. According to ITM Proteus, we have a medium probability associated with the future short side outcome. Proteus, as you know, is a leading indicator. 24 seconds to the next interval, therefore we are going to go back to the platform, select gold on the 5-minute time frame, low and $25 as our investment size fixed, Once we're into the trade, which will be roughly 55 seconds, that will hit the buy button, and that'll allow us time for the trade to get executed. Once we're into the trade, we'll come back to you just before expiry to see how this trade panned out and evaluate results. Alright, back again with roughly 10 seconds remaining on this gold future trade. We're looking at a trade expiring outside of the money, so we're going to go into recovery mode. When a trade fails in Proteus, as you know, a trade is likely to succeed with higher odds on the next round because the previous trade that lost was most likely mistimed due to Proteus not being able to completely time the trade correctly. So we're into this trade now for double the investment. I'll come back to you shortly. Alright, we're back again, and as expected, the trade has expired in the money, as was suggested by Proteus earlier on. We lost the first trade, went into recovery mode, which is a one-off doubling of your initial investment only if your equity and risk parameters support it. In our case, we went from 25 to 50. The trade expired in the money successfully, recouping the loss on the first trade. Alright, it is 10:19:30. We're 30 seconds away from the next available interval, so let's go over to the chart here and see what Proteus is saying. We're looking at a high probability, high or long side trade projection here by Proteus, so we'll go back to the platform, select gold. This is the old trade that expired in the money earlier on, the recovery trade, high, and select $25 as our investment. Once the clock hits 55 seconds, just 5 seconds before the next interval, we will execute this trade, and once we're into the trade, come back to you just before expiry, as is the norm with all other trades. Okay, we're back, 10:24:40. We're 20 seconds away from expiry, roughly 15 seconds. This gold future trade has dipped in and out of the money. Very volatile conditions today. However, it is expiring in the money as was projected by ITM Proteus before the trade began. Notice that we've gone back to the initial investment size of 25. The recovery trade is always a one-off trade, the trade we executed earlier. If a one-off trade fails, you go back to your initial investment. If the one-off trade wins, that's happy days, and you've made back the loss on your first investment. Under no circumstances, according to this strategy, do you go over that one-off limit for the recovery trade. A recovery trade is only to be executed once, regardless of the outcome. However, having said that, Proteus is designed to time entries accurately enough. In the event that you have a failed trade like we did, the first trade today was a failed trade, it's only grounds for the next trade being more high probability, higher in probability, because the previous trade was mistimed. Proteus recalibrates to make the next trade even more legitimate. So you have higher odds of success going forward after that first trade, hence the one-off recovery trade strategy. If the recovery trade 2 fails, it has a very low likelihood of failing, but if it does fail, you stop and you go back to your initial investment. That is the strategy. If you use these rules to your advantage using Proteus, that is a very consistently performing indicator for Forex, stocks, futures, commodities, and indices, you're looking at growing your equity over time in a safe and conducted fashion. Losses always happen, but management of losses and a strategy that allows you to leverage losses is what's missing in most traders' arsenals. And that's why ITM Proteus is so effective at providing traders with exactly that tool, to not look at a losing trade as a negative, but to use the losing trade to their advantage in future trades. Thank you very much.